Hello and welcome back to Gary and Reaver Versus of the Devil Episode 2. We have returned to the scene of the crime we have come to the scene of the crime for the first time in order to gather evidence to free our client who we framed. And I am here with the slightly corrupt cop, Detective London. Detective London? We're definitely not alone down here. But when you reassured your partner that we'd have company, I didn't think you were including blue bloods. I knew I'd forgotten to mention. Well, then she's a liar, babe. Because I never said that. No, I never said that. Okay. I like the phone charm. Oh, come on, babe. That's what she's like. She lies for fun. Because that's what I call you, babe. It's a pet name. You like it. No, don't hang up. Don't hang up, baby. Don't hang up. Of course I do. We gotta get to work, Han. I'll have to call you back, babe. Something just came up. London, what is this? London, who is this? Councillor Morgan, this is Adelaide Han. She's a blue blood. Hey, I'm a perfectly legitimate career woman. You're speaking to a security site manager. If you need anything, miss, please don't hesitate to reach out. A real business card. It even has a watermark. Morgan, you're sweating. I'm not familiar with Cyanus. We're a private security and investigating firm. We provide bouncers, armed escorts, we catch cheating partners, find runaway debtors, run paternity tests, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, that clearly defined limited spectrum. Also, I forgot to look at Chopin. Okay, so that is the dead officer. Interesting. Patrol officer, 24/7 news, calligraphy and late dinners, dislikes grey hairs, sorry London, untucked shirts and mint. Bachelor of Science in Applied Philosophy, Senatorial Commendation of Bravery. Miguel and Dominic Chopin. Oh yeah, this is a thing as well. Look. Like they added it so you could flick the flick the phone charm with your mouse. That was something that was added in an update. Han's card. Adelaide Han, site manager. With a okay. Adelaide Hand's business card listing her as a site manager at Cyanus Security, a known front for the blue blood. Really subtle, by the way. It's like going, don't call us the Red Lords. Check me out at Scarlet Manufacturing. Includes her personal contact on top of her work details for some reason. Cyanus Security is a trusted partner in your business ventures, offering a suite of private security services. Okay. Answer a few questions about your needs. The portal below. Sorry, but have we met somewhere? No, it can't be. I'd never forget a beauty like you. She's the Hound's lawyer, Han. Seriously? She works for those copper-headed scumbags? So we're mortal enemies, that sucks. Another life then, eh? But I'll still play nice if you will. Oh, and Adelaide Han. Site manager, Cyanus Security, likes new furniture, silk clothes, and dimples. Dislikes clingy types. I mean, based on that phone call, that is not the impression I'd get. Jealous types, again, and needles. Plays pickup games. Not sure what those are. Avoids laundry day. And dislikes throwing out dead flowers. Okay, not quite sure what that tells me about her. Right. So you're private security and you're currently securing this crime scene? Yeah, what's with the tone? What you're hearing is genuine bewilderment. London, why are the police letting blue bloods contaminate the crime scene where a cop died? Come on, we don't have cuties. If this wasn't the location where a cop died, we'd have already turned full control over to them. What? The police contract out the security around crime scenes to private companies all the time. And around here, the private company best suited for the job happens to be Cyanus. Letting them conduct their own side investigations is a small concession to keep the peace. A small concession? They're probably in there destroying evidence as we speak. We have the ARCs to preserve the crime scene. They could burn the building down and we'd have a pristine copy. ARCs is the augmented reality crime scene, an investigative tool which basically creates an AR version of a crime scene. Lambda work. Actually, there is a thing I keep meaning that I do mean to check. It is in an article. Somebody noticed something in this article that I just glazed over entirely. See, when Morgan, after reading this one, was like, they're actually thanking them in the thing, I thought it was talking about here, the private security, including White Adder, Fang, and Demico. But actually, it's at the bottom here. It says the article is presented to you advertiser free, thanks to the contributions of our generous donors, Daniel Mass of the Daniel Mass Foundation, Rebecca E. Jones of the Rebecca E. Jones Foundation, Jessica and Ronald McGuile of the McGuile Foundation for Arts and Sciences, and the Rockford Foundation for Public Broadcasting. The only one without a name of a person attached to it, and Rockford being the surname of, and I don't think we have a profile for her, our favourite tired DA, Emma Rockford. So very good eyes on that. I just didn't see that at all. We have the ARCs to preserve the crime scene. They could burn the building down and we'd still have a pristine copy. London Bridges is trying to save face. The police couldn't keep this crime scene off limits without our help, and he knows it. Gremlins would be smashing their shiny cameras and popping their expensive tyres round the clock if we weren't here. Lower wards kids take out drones by tossing shoes at them for fun. Is that why you see shoes hanging off wires? No, I don't know why that happens. That's the thing that has always happened, and like when I was growing up, it was always like whoever you ask tells you a different story, but none of them were good. It's just the things teens have always done for fun. Mysteries solved? Fine. Maybe the cops and the blue bloods are all consummate professionals who never even bicker. But what kind of impartiality can I expect coming here to defend an Icaria? Well, you might get some ugly looks from those with less chivalry, but no one's going to get in your way. We know how defense attorneys operate. We know damn well how you usually win. No one's going to do anything that'll let you worm the hound out of his life sentence on a technicality. Are you sure you wouldn't prefer that, to have him back out on the street so you can take another shot at him? Oh, so flattery, that's how you flirt. What does that mean? Oh, Morgan. You think we'd ever manage to gun down the hound of Icaria in the street, shank him in a holding cell? Blue Bloods took him alive just fine the other day, didn't they? Yeah. Oh, his slight emotion change at her just admitting to a crime directly in front of him. Yeah, and look what happened to them afterwards. So you won't tamper with the crime scene just because you want to make sure the state lobotomizes Sasuke for pentuple homicide? Yeah. I mean, we also literally get paid good money to do these kind of jobs, so we have a reputation to maintain. Rate us 5 stars when you're done looking around, Kay? I'll be sure to leave a glowing review. So this is the main entrance. Front door looks about as heavy as I remember, but it's unlocked. Sorry, she said that out loud. Unlocked? What? It's unlocked. What's that? How was this door found? Chopin and Rogers were the first officers on the scene responding to gunfire. Someone heard that. Good thing I cleaned up fast. Checked the area, then entered through the front door. The door was definitely locked when I arrived, but I didn't lock it behind me when I left. I didn't have any keys. Admiring our handiwork? This is a Cyanus installation. Who else would Blue Bloods trust to secure Blue Blood buildings? How does it lock? You never used a key before? I want to know how the lock functions. Does it lock behind you automatically? That's a good question. You looking to buy? 'Cause I could set you up. It is a good question, Han. Why don't you answer it? Yeah, this model locks behind you by default. You need a key to get in if someone doesn't unlock it for you from the inside. A physical key? Physical keys can't be hacked. Or overridden by a police badge. Some people consider these... Oh, of course, sorry. Something just clicked. Back in the taxi, London was like, you can get rid of the bugs by flashing a police badge, but it was an auto cab, so you literally just flash it at a sensor and it turns off the bugs. I assumed it was like a thing people say rather than... Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. Some people consider those useful features. Is that why the door's ajar? It looks like the lock's been destroyed. Was it found like this? Yeah, for as long as the ARX has been up. Evidence. The front door to the crime scene utilizes a physical lock and key. Automatically lock behind you when you leave. Trey definitely had to unlock it to let me in. I didn't think to see if it had locked behind me after I left. Okay, that's interesting, because it means whoever was the first person to gain entry wasn't, like, welcome, wasn't either was, maybe they might have been affiliated with the Blue Bloods, but they weren't so affiliated that they had, I suppose, a key to this particular building. You know, one of many buildings, not going to have, like, a skeleton key for every corrupt cop or whatever. It definitely wasn't locked when me and Reyes arrived, which was around 10:20 p.m. Hang on, you and Reyes? What, were you the second officers on scene? That's right, we weren't far when the 10999 went out at 10:15. 10999, emergency codes utilised in municipal systems around the nation, most frequently to signify one or more first responders' lives are in danger. Most police departments' standard issue suite of biomonitors allow for this code to be sent automatically when cardiac activity is disrupted. Some departments make it a policy to avoid enabling the automatic alert function. That's going to be important. Right, I want to address something that occurred to me when I was editing the previous episode. London said something like, it's weird to be back here. Actually, maybe in the log. No, it is not. Yeah, he says something like, it's weird to be back here, especially what happened last time I came down here. And then Morgan was like, so he's been here recently or before? And that was it. And it, like, popped into my head, what if he's the killer? But if he openly admits to sort of, we were here last night to, you know, to see this, does still raise questions, though. What's he referring to that's so terrible? I mean, it could just be this, you know, but still. Long way from Precinct 254, isn't it? We're in the area. Awkward. You want the tour, then? Actually, I'd like to check out the alley first. You know the crime scene's on the 3rd floor, right? Yeah, but it has a window that opens to the alley, doesn't it? I just prefer to start from the bottom and work my way up sometimes. I feel she took a leap of logic there that she probably shouldn't have. Like, you know, admitting, hey, there's a window, right? Well, how did you know that? Just a guess. Sure, we can start there. Just be careful where you step if you like those boots at all. Why is there an article everywhere I go? It just seems funny. Lobo King. One problem with blue bloods and cops running security, I don't know who to blame for leaving their shit here. I'll give the moral high ground to whichever part of society learns to pick up after themselves first. Bombing ruled out in university fire. This is a short and interesting article in that there have been a series of fires apparently moving eastwards across the nation, and each one seems to target like government or academic infrastructure, I suppose corporate as well, and some things that seem to always be the target of these attacks, or these fires rather, is stuff like student debt. In more than one location in a eastward travelling direction has had their student debt information damaged or just gone. And like, I mean, there's no way this is an accident. Like, it's like, oh yeah, it was just a freak accident that provided relief and confusion because of a cooling system failure. Yeah, this reminds me of... I can't remember the name. The activist mentioned in the previous episode, like the previous game episode, who was like activist against like the use of rare metals or the extract of rare metals. It's that sort of thing where this is like essentially a sort of cyberpunk helping the community activist, and is doing it by covertly damaging cooling systems on server hubs to get rid of important files to save people money. I feel like I've heard stories about bombings out west the last few months, but I didn't know they'd all been attributed to one person, or that they're now calling them the Witch of the West. There's no mention of victims, only data centers being targeted. But clearly this witch is hitting someone where it hurts, if they've now got schools? Damn. I don't know. I think it's got to be feds, because I think they've been hitting schools for a while. What really stands out here is that the federal investigators are getting involved. Most national security agencies are absorbed into the military police complex decades ago. That bureau survived, but it's a mere fraction of the size it used to be, and very different in its function. Their modern reputation is that of attack dogs deployed by the Senate to make examples of political targets. I can't say I like the idea of them being out here hunting for serial offenders. Inspect the bin. It was much darker last night than it is now, and I only took a quick peek. But even so, this... well, looks like it's been moved, huh? Yes. Was trash picked up last night, perhaps? Checking the model number on the side. Looks like dumpsters of this make haven't been picked up by the city in a decade. I didn't realise there was a DRM on trash cans. Hey, it's a heavy model, tough to lift, even if its wheels weren't broken. And designed for containing industrial waste, how it ended up here in a residential district isn't that hard to puzzle out, is it? It was cheaper for the Megs to dump their shit on us than it was to haul it to a landfill. Is that why I can see markings on the ground there, from leaks? Oh, you really are a tourist, aren't you? I've been in the lower wards before. But only at night, right? Rain's dirty down here, stains the ground wherever it falls. Acid rain, like from the history books? Not quite that bad, just smog combined with precipitation combined with the charms of the city to make dirty rain, like I said. Lower ward spring water. There's a shot named after it, tequila and pickle juice. Ugh. So is the dumpster empty? Let's see. Hey, grab a glove if you're gonna... Yeah, it's mostly empty except for a bunch of scrap metal at the bottom. Explains why I can't get it to budge. Careful, if you get your foot trapped under there, don't look at me to help you just 'cause I'm modded. Are you saying you couldn't budge it either? I could if a girl was cheering me on. Okay, London, thanks. Don't know what I was expecting to find, really. Now just watch it so you don't... Ooh, okay. Let the lid slam. This is evidence? An industrial dumpster found in the alley, incredibly heavy. Right, yeah, because it's been moved. The lid makes a very unpleasant sound. Thing is, it's not been moved far, you know? I'm sorry. Like, that's not very far to move it. It would have to be, like, to give someone a launching pad to get up onto the balcony. But... And that would have to be the shadow assassin. But that's like a foot, you know? That's really not very far, unless it had to be like a vertical jump. Just seems a very, very little distance to push it. The fire escape would lead right up to the crime scene, assuming it doesn't come crashing down once you step onto it. It's missing the ladder that would connect it to street level. You're violating fire code with this tetanus trap, Han. Building inspection's not my department. Besides, who would want to climb up into a burning building? Firefighters? You're funny, Bridges. Even a copper firefighter wouldn't risk getting singed to save a lower ward property from burning down. An ad could probably make the jump up there. Ads are heavy. If an android leaped onto that, the whole mess would probably come crashing down on top of them. Yeah, modders are heavy too. Hey. Looks like the only way into the building is through the front door then. Alright, I'm done back here. So I think I've seen everything That's right. I was standing here last night when... Oh, right. The kid. It was dark and foggy. The kid was too far off to make out my face. Weren't they? What is it, Tiger? Nothing. Thought I saw someone out of the corner of my eye, that's all. Yeah, around here maybe it was an unlisted. What do you... Those are real? Keep to themselves, obviously, but yeah, they're real. I've met some. They inform, sometimes on what they've seen. Never come in to testify, of course. You'd think they stand out dressing like that, but if their camouflage didn't work, they wouldn't be unlisted, right? What do you mean they keep to themselves? Don't they work with any of the gangs down here? Sorry, have I gotten your hopes up or something? Trust me, you've got a better chance of winning the lottery than running into one. Right, forget I asked. Unlisted. An informal designation given to individuals, missing persons or unhoused who are not tracked on any government database. Interesting. A couple of interesting things in all of this. Immigration, there's a military service citizenship program, meaning that you can become a citizen if you serve in the military. And then they are either... What was it? Where did it say? So they're then tracked by immigration monitoring until they leave or are fully naturalized at the end of their service, which is a fascinating concept. But there are like groups that migrate around in caravans to undercut contracts working on agricultural or fungal installations. Fungal is a very interesting one here. Some do live in urban settings and are essentially homeless people, but unlike homeless people or homeless communities that get, like they even don't use homeless much, they mostly use unhoused in this. I don't know if that's a real world term. They refuse state assistance, but nobody knows really how many there are. That's the point. They're unlisted, they're undocumented, so no one knows how many there are, so people don't want to put resources towards it. Fire escape. Connected to the room where the crime took place, rusty and poorly maintained. It's missing the ladder that one could use. Copper is a derogatory term for automated dependents, particularly ones licensed or operating under the authority of the state. It is a form of hate speech, even though they are not people. Right, forget I asked. You ready to go inside? I think so, so long as... No, I'm not with anyone else, it's just me here. Because she's shrill, princess. And delusional, you know that. I'm sure she'll catch up. So you were saying this used to be an apartment building? Somewhere between that and a long-stay motel, yeah. Blue Bloods didn't deviate far from that model when they took over. They call rooms like these vaults, places to stash away a lover, witness, debtor when there's too much heat. You've gone through all these vaults, I take it? Cyana's helped us with that last night, yeah, bringing around master keys, clearing out every possible hiding place. Didn't find a red-handed killer hiding anywhere, did you? Sorry, no. So this is the Blue Bloods' forte then, securing people, places and things. You could think of it that way. Guess I've always assumed gangs made their money through drugs. Well, the Blue Bloods do deal here and there. But narcotics have been a rich man's game ever since CDCA rolled in. That was a very clever way of her sort of bringing the topic to that. I didn't mean to click then. Bringing the topic to that without, you know, giving anything away. Also, this is the CDCA. This was gone into in the previous one. Basically, the government legalized almost every sort of normal drug. And in the previous episode, Farah talked about how she doesn't think this was a good idea because it didn't fix the problem. It just sort of shunted it along. So like the grey wave, where money-starved criminal organizations who used to deal the drugs that are now legal sort of fought to get government contracts and create more powerful, more designer drugs to monopolize on their sale to fill in for the stuff that could suddenly just be bought in normal shops. So as Farah put it, it was something like, people aren't dying in crack dens, they're dying where their families will find them, or something like that. You know, it hasn't fixed drug addiction by any means, it's just almost sanitized it. If you have the funds to ride the grey wave the way House Icaria does, you can make a killing. They've got the market cornered from black to grey to white to pure green profit. The Blue Bloods hate that they have to make do with all the scraps the Megs and the House don't bother producing en masse. Professional jealousy? How ugly. Why can't these underworld overlords just bury the hatchet, get together and screw over the consumer like reasonable people do? They've tried, if you believe the rumours. About a year ago now, there was some kind of meeting, an olive branch from the golds to the blues. Apparently, the Blue Bloods had a product that the Icaria wanted to distribute. The Icaria sell legal drugs now, though. And what kind of product could the Blue Bloods have that the Icaria couldn't manufacture? Not sure. Maybe that's why it went south so fast. Blood was spilled in less than an hour. The Icaria aren't the type to keep negotiating after being spat on like that. And so the Blue Bloods remain firmly planted in their lower wards niche. They might not like having to take the low end, but they're filling a gap in the market. And that's every proper capitalist calling, right? Besides, the workers certainly appreciate the protection down here. Workers hire Blue Bloods for protection, but that's... all that stuff is legal so long as they're licensed, isn't it? Legal? Yes. Respectable? Most would still say no. So a household name security megs consider it too high risk to be seen in the company of workers. Worker? Oh, right. That kind of worker. Which explains why Morgan was like, all that stuff. Because anything around this topic makes her incredibly uncomfortable. I like that the high-end ones are called courtesans. That's just a nice flair to it. It doesn't help that their average board member is easily pushing 60 years old. You aren't that far from pushing 60 yourself, are you? Matter of opinion. Besides, I'm a very modern, forward-thinking man. Did you finish those 50 rosaries already? Right. And the Icaria, they don't, compete in that market? No. People at the Icaria's heights might patronize a courtesan or two in the cloud districts, but they'd never lower themselves to work alongside one. Hypocrites. That much I understand perfectly. The hypocrisy is the appeal for them. The rules don't apply to me. You couldn't ask for a more pure expression of power.